Good morning and happy Monday morning. And I'm so sorry I'm late. I can't believe I'm late to my very own live stream. Oh my goodness. Hi Dave, I see your comment. First thing I turned it on and I'm so sorry. I've been super groggy this morning and I was warming up to get ready and I just lost track of time and then didn't have then the extra buffer to wrestle with my equipment, which was not behaving super well this morning, which normally I leave enough time for these things so that, I can actually deal with it without becoming late. So I'm so sorry about that. I can't say I won't let it happen again because I struggle with time management, but I will be better and more aware. Oh my goodness. It's lovely to see you, Dave. I actually had a really super busy weekend. David and I jetted up to Seattle just for the weekend for a wedding of my old roommate, Matt, and it was wonderful. And Seattle was gorgeous. It was 70 degrees and sunny, well, highs of 70s, and sunny and beautiful. And the wedding was out underneath Mount Si, which is a mountain in the foothills of the Cascade Mountain Range that's particularly tall compared to the mountains around it. And I went to high school at Mount Si High School, which is 3 minutes from the wedding venue. So we got to go by my high school, which was weird because it had been completely demolished and rebuilt and is this massive behemoth of a skyscraper now. It's not a skyscraper, but I mean, it's crazy and modern. And David and I actually drove to the place where I grew up, where I lived through my teenage years, and that was very nostalgic and beautiful. And David says maybe I was still on Seattle time. Yes, I guess that's my excuse, although I'm still feeling very bashful and silly that I was late to my own live stream, especially after fussing around with sharing on all my social media channels and look, I'm over on YouTube and it's actually working and come see me this morning. And then I wonder how many people were here, and then we're like, well, she's not here. Good morning, Scott, lovely to see you. Oh gosh, Dave, your city is still a COVID hotspot. Maybe I should stop talking about all the things that I'm doing. I'm so sorry to hear that I think we're very lucky in the US to have had such access to vaccination and that our vaccination rates are pretty high, although I guess we've had a pretty rough run of managing the pandemic in general. So I guess it's good that there's something that we seem to be doing well. But I'm so sorry to hear that, Dave. I'm sure that's really frustrating. I know you probably are anxious to go to Cuba and to do all your travels and to go see the stars. In fact, I hope you've been able to go see the stars. Good morning, Joseph. Lovely to see you. Oh, I'm so happy to see you. Let's see. All right, yes. Hopefully we are all as a community in a world making progress towards making our world safer for those that are particularly vulnerable to the virus, and we can start crafting something that is closer to what we would call real life or normal life anyways. I sure hope that that's the case, and it's lovely to see you all on this holiday. I actually want to do a little bit of a longer stream because I was imagining, I've had a lot of people say, hey, I'm at work and I can't always be there for the whole stream, or in some cases I can't be there at all because I'm working and my job doesn't allow me to listen or be on my phone. So I'm going to make it an extra long one and play some extra music for you this morning, which is kind of nice. I'm honestly itching a little bit to play a concert, which is a very different experience than this. On that note, if this is your first time at Monday Morning Coffee, let me just kind of tell you what it is really quick. It's, as you can see, I'm just sort of letting you into my piano room and my space and my life on Monday mornings. Sometimes that means I'm going to be groggy and a little bit spacey, but I'm going to be here and I'm going to be present with you, and I'm here to answer questions. I'm going to babble on about my weekend and maybe my prior week and my adventures and my personal life and whatever, and I'll play as well. And usually what I play is a little bit ad hoc. If I prepare, it's just in the few moments before actual Monday Morning Coffee, because I want this to be not a concert, not something that I'm preparing for, not something like I'm going to show you what I'm doing right now. So it might be music that I'm in the process of writing, and I will play you part of a song. Usually as part of Monday Morning Coffee, I'll also do an improv, which means I'm just making up music on the spot to play for you. And then lately I've been playing a classical piece, although I'm not going to do that today because I'm super keen to just play a bunch of my music for you, a bunch of my music that I honestly haven't played for a long time. Let's see. Oh, hello, Christine. I see Dave just said that his wife, Christine, is listening on the Bluetooth speaker. I'm lovely to see you or hear you. Travel to the stars. Yes, Scott is saying he'd like to travel to the stars sometime soon, and that would be pretty sweet. I think they're working on that, right? Isn't that a thing? Okay, so this is, now I have to decide what I'm going to play first, and you know what, I'd like to play, last week I played a piece that I had come up with when I went to the desert in the prior week. I spent a week hiking in the desert and set up the keyboard and watched the sunset light on the Chisos Mountains, and this music just came to me. And so, I mean, the working title is Sunset on the Chisos. And one thing about being here for Monday Morning Coffee is you're going to hear my working titles, and maybe you can even help me brainstorm non-working titles, finished titles for them. But in this case, this is Sunset on the Chisos. And just in the desert and hearing like the desert bird calls and being completely out, so remote away from other humans, just birds and silence, and these mountains that are like islands in the middle of the desert with the setting sun behind me, the light reflected on the mountains. It was just absolutely beautiful. And you'll hear a little bit of like kind of where my sound space is at in this moment, because this music came to me only about a week and a half ago. So So that was currently called Sunset on the Chisos. And another interesting thing about being here with me is I don't record every piece that I write. And so you're going to be able to hear, probably, I'm not going to say every piece that I write, but many pieces that I write, you're going to hear here. And then you can even tell me which ones you really, really love. Like, okay, please record that. I want to hear that. I want to be able to hear that all the time. So that's kind of, because I write music all the time, and I write, like, gosh, in the 15 weeks that we've had Monday Morning Coffee, I think there's been at least 6 like new, like, sort of seeds of musical ideas. And I'm not, probably not all of those are going to end up like on a record or on Spotify or on Apple Music. So this is kind of your opportunity to say, hey, I love that. Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Dave is saying here, this is kind of cool that I can do this. It only takes a second. Dave is saying that, like, it's pretty cool that he can be 2 time zones away and 3,400 kilometers, and he could be listening to me playing in my living room. I have to say I agree. It's pretty awesome. Here, I'm going to take this off because it's on top of my face. Yes, I agree. That it's really awesome. And it was awesome when I was in New Zealand, but every time I tried, there was a huge delay. Now that could have been because I was on Facebook. I've since learned that Facebook live streaming has some particular challenges to it, unfortunately. So I'm really happy to be here on YouTube, and I think the sound quality is actually a lot better, which is very important to me, obviously. And next, I'd like to play another piece, actually, that came to me in the desert. I had 2, and this was just kind of a seed of an idea. And then last week in my partial week, since I went to Seattle and I'd just gotten back from the desert and everything, but I finished that Sunset on the Chisos, and then I also kind of fleshed this one out a little bit more. I have no idea what I'm going to call it. So maybe you can help me out with that. Let me know what it makes you think of. But it's in a very similar sound zone, I think. They could easily be related pieces, or like 2 parts of a grouping of pieces or something like that. Let's see. That's as far as I've decided, but I'm kind of thinking something next, like... I'm gonna kind of get sort of big and chordal and kind of enjoy that new melody that I've just introduced. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that comes together this week or next. And I guess I'm going to have to start, deciding what I'm going to record and what I'm actually going to release. I've been kind of focusing on these Monday morning coffees every Monday and these kind of sharings, but, time to start thinking about what is going to come out next. Because of course last fall when I recorded the music for Lost in the Azure, I also recorded 2 pieces at that time that I still have yet to edit and mix and master and get ready for release. In fact, one of them is actually one of my favorite pieces to play right now. And if you were watching my lives or my videos last fall, you would have heard it. It's kind of this song about emerging from the darkness, coming into the sunshine in a very empowered, strong kind of way, kind of sort of coming into one's own. This was the first piece I wrote sort of coming out of the some pretty intense grief space that I had around my mother's death last summer. And I was just really searching for inspiration, and I just was having the hardest time finding it. And this piece felt like I was scaling a cliff bathed in sunshine. It was just the most beautiful experience to write this piece. I wrote it in like 2 days. And I'd like to play it for you. I've played it a couple of times, but not recently. Hi, Curtis. Oh, it's lovely to see you. Ooh, Pete's Major Dickinson Dark Roast. I have to say I have not tried that before. This is a Mexican Chiapas roast from Central Market, because I live really close to Central Market, so I can walk and get their in-house roasted beans, and it's very affordable. I like that, and I get to try lots of different single origin roasts, which is kind of nice. Okay, I'm gonna play this piece for you. It's not released yet, but I think you'll like it. I'd like to hear if you like it. Oh, I'd also like to hear what you think of the last one. So tell me things. Oh, that was nice. I have to say, I have not been playing music that is complete a lot lately. I've been like working on a lot of new stuff, so my time at the piano has been taken up a lot by writing my new music, and so I haven't played that one for a while, and it's just such an enjoyable piece to play. Let's see here. I'm just peeking into, oh yay, Scott, I know you love this one. Yay. And yes, Dave pointed out that my piano is like the right way around, which for those of you that have come over from the Facebook live feed, on Facebook it's mirrored, it's flipped. So like as a pianist, if you are a pianist, you look and it looks like the hand that should be playing the high notes is actually playing the low notes. It's the weirdest thing. Oh. I'm so pleased that the Yamaha sounds so much nicer than the Ahame. Oh, Dave, thank you. Dave says the music just flows out of my fingers. I appreciate that. And I mean, it does. That's, you know, that's one of the things about, it's kind of like learning to speak a language. And this is a language that I learned how to speak when I was very, very young. You know, my mom was a piano teacher, so she started teaching me very casually when I was about 3. She'd just set me on her lap and show me things. And I actually didn't have really consistent lessons until I was a teenager, but I was around it all the time and I was playing all the time. So it just became very natural for me. And I love this instrument and I love the way it sounds. And I think what I'd like to do next is I'm going to play a piece from the 52. That is also one of my favorite pieces to play because it's just so chill and it's so different. It's literally the only sort of jazzy-ish piece I've ever, or bluesy, it's blues, that I've ever written. And it's not like even technically blues, but it's a sound that's quite different from what I normally go for. And yeah, I have in my intention to like write an actual like sort of jazz quartet or quintet part for it as well. But you know, in the middle of 52, I was churning out a new piece every week and like producing it and mixing it and arting it and promoting it and doing all of that. So there was not time to write, you know, like a bass guitar and a guitar and a drum line and stuff like that. But I think this piece would be really cool with that. So that's probably coming at some point in the future. This piece is called She Sees Everyone with Kind Eyes. And yeah, it's a little bluesy because it's part of my She series, which I wrote a series of pieces in the 52 that begin with the word she, and they're all celebrations of various expressions of kind of the beautiful, complex, sacred feminine. And in this case, you know, it is kind of like a bittersweet sentiment. She sees everyone with kind eyes. You know, I'm sure you know somebody who just always has the kindest things to say about everyone, never sees evil intention in anyone. But of course that leaves that person open to be taken advantage of. And, you know, so there's kind of like these two sides to this sort of kind of personality trait, which is kind of what I was trying to capture with this. Yeah, Dave actually, my super fan, self-titled super fan Dave, was the one that said, "Hey, why don't you write something jazzy or bluesy?" And that was like last year or the year that I was doing the 52. I was taking all kinds of suggestions and prompts from my fans, and Dave gave me that one, and so that is actually where that piece came from. Because I was like, "Can I write blues? Can I do that?" And I sat down and I wrote this. Oh, thank you! Yay! I'm so happy. It's so nice to share this music with you. I am. Let's see. I want to play another piece that's in progress that I played a couple times in the last few weeks because it's very fresh. It's not like a week and a half ago fresh. It's like 3 weeks ago fresh. Yeah. Oh, Curtis, I love that. He says that song belonged on La La Land. I love that a little bit. If you listen carefully, there's actually a point where the melody, it sounds just a little bit like a song from The Greatest Showman. I didn't realize that until after I wrote it. But it's just the tiniest little bit. I'm definitely not quoting it or anything like that, but it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat to hear how music that you hear kind of shows up a little bit in the music that you write. That's just always a thing that happens. So next I'm going to play this piece that started showing up for me about 4 weeks ago, and it's been making gradual progress. It's not finished yet, so you're going to hear it kind of peter out at the end, which is just what happens when I get to a point where I'm like, I haven't decided for sure what I'm doing next, but I've kind of experimented with some things, so you'll hear. So let's see. I keep meaning to mention. At popular request, I've added tipping links in the comments. So if you would like to leave me a tip, you are more than welcome to. I always appreciate it, and I definitely see personally when you do that, like that's really wonderful for me and helps make it so that I can continue doing this creative work. But absolutely no obligation. I am happy to be here with you, money or no. So, I like that, a drop of whiskey in the cider to add a drummer and a bassist to that song. So I'm gonna play Emerge, and the reason I wanted to share this again, I haven't made a lot of progress since the last time I played it a couple weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, last week. Oh dear, my sense of time is all messed up. But it is related to that piece I just played about coming into the sunshine, and that was this powerful, bright, like, oh, I feel happy again, I could feel joy again, you know. So in the comments, I'm just like, there's so much going on in the comments that I'm like, I'm wanting to make sure that you all are talking to me. Oh, David said in the comments where it should be in the text, in the description on YouTube, not in the comments. I'm so sorry about that. There's a PayPal link and my Venmo as well. So whatever works for you. The nice thing about Venmo is there aren't any fees, but then PayPal can be used by anyone around the world. So that's nice. Hopefully that clarifies for you. I will see comments come up if there are any more questions. But so this piece is called Emerge, and this music started coming up for me after I was vaccinated and starting to figure out what I wanted my life to look like. Like what kind of socializing do I want to do? What kind of classes do I want to take? What kind of restaurants do I want to go to? Like all these things that feel a little bit scary and vulnerable, but also like it's sort of like an unfolding. And so this piece kind of reminds me of like a butterfly emerging out of a chrysalis. And I think you'll hear that. Again, it's not done yet, but I want to share it with you because it's in progress, and that's always really fun to share and hear your comments and things. And I'm not sure what comes next, but I probably need to come back and visit some of those themes that I've already played instead of continuing on and playing more. Okay, there's a bunch of comments. Oh, let's see why. Okay, apparently okay, let's see if I can put something in the comments. And sorry for this weirdness. I'm like having to enter some chat here, but I'm going to put in the tipping links here. And I'm so sorry they didn't show up. I did add them, but I am still also figuring out, oh my goodness, where is the character? I'm still trying to figure out this technology. Okay, that's so weird. I can't find a semicolon to make a link on my keyboard here. But yes, so I will, okay, it's paypal.me//Rachel LaFond Piano is the PayPal link. And my Venmo is Rachel LaFond, which I will, okay, there's the PayPal, and there is, I'm sorry, this is so awkward, but I want to make sure, I have been asked, and I want to make sure and provide you all with the opportunity or the ability to kind of be a part of my work in this way, because I know that's a positive thing to be able to actually support the artists that you like. I think it's important. Okay, I've got it. I'm sorry about that. I feel so awkward just typing on a camera, but okay. So that was Emerge, and Yeah, wow, I'm just really feeling that. I've got so much music in progress right now. And then there was one like, remember, like 6 weeks ago that was like this really haunting, kind of funky, less tonal melody. And yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and listen to my own kind of in progress recordings of that to remember what that's about so that I could finish that one. Let's see. Let's see, Curtis says, here, let me put this up. He's asking me a question, so I'm gonna put it up so you can all see it and try and get out of the way of the box. I need to set my camera up slightly differently. Okay, so these are, yes, they're sound panels and bass traps. I'm actually gonna, I know this is probably like a no-no, but I'm gonna adjust my camera so that it's easier for me to be over here. They're sound panels and bass traps, and we built them ourselves, David and Scott and I. And what they do is they keep it from being super echoey. So you might be able to see that the floor, and there's a big actually space here, and it's all hard tile. And so it's actually quite echoey. And where I moved from, the kind of temporary house I was in for the first year in Austin, my piano room was like a concrete box, like it was concrete floor, and it was pretty small, and it was just, this piano is huge. It's a concert piano, and it was just you could not deal with it in there. And so these sound panels kind of soften the sound, they lessen the echoes and make it less unnaturally loud in that way. And I do not tune my piano myself because that is it's a whole thing, and there's more to keeping a piano like this in good condition than just tuning. Tuning kind of just brings the pitch to the right place, but there's plenty of like kind of looking at the felts and the hammers and making sure they're the correct softness or hardness to have the best tone, the tone that I like, and just kind of generally caring for the piano. So I have a technician here in Austin who I was referred to by the Steinway store, and he is absolutely wonderful. I'm so grateful, but he books like 2 months out. So I just kind of have this running appointment once a month with him to come look at my piano. And sometimes I cancel that appointment because I don't necessarily need it every month, but I want to have it set up so that if I want to record, because I do have to tune and kind of get the piano sounding as good as possible before I record. And I want the opportunity or the option to record every week, if that makes sense. Thank you for that. That's a really good question. Thank you for asking that, Curtis. Ooh, thank you, Scott. He's saying he really is liking how Emerge is developing. That build up where it gets faster felt really powerful. That's really important to me. I feel like if it's a piece about emerging, it has to emerge, you know? It can't all be this gentle, vulnerable, this kind of soft space. Well, I was gonna do, let's see, I'm trying to decide if I should do an improv this morning because it's now been 40 minutes, and usually Monday morning coffee only lasts 30. You know what, I feel like improvising is an important part of Monday morning coffee, something that I don't want to cut. So I've been playing all of these sweet pieces. I guess the one about going up the Sunshine Cliffs was in a minor key, but let's do something a little less sweet. We'll do something in a minor key and maybe something a little haunting. I feel like that's a fun space to be in. It's one of my favorite spaces to be in, actually. Let's see. And I hear you. Oh my goodness. All right. Yes, Joseph and Scott say improv. Let's do it. All right. Let's do something challenging. Let me do a key that I don't normally play in. I'm probably going to accidentally choose one I play in a lot anyways, but I'm going to try. Let's do C minor. Actually, I don't often compose in C minor. So it's like F sharp minor, E flat minor, D minor, A minor. Let's try C minor. No, that's too weird. Sorry. Okay. Sometimes I gotta find my way. Give me a second. So sometimes improvs end up a little bit weird, but oh, liked it, not weird at all. Okay, well, wonderful. I'm so glad you liked it. Sometimes it's one of the interesting things I've noticed as a musician is my first impression of something that I improvise or I write or come up with is not always the one. It's not always the correct. It's not always the correct processing of it. Sometimes I sit with it a little bit and I'm like, actually, this is really awesome. But also, my opinion is not always in of like how often a song gets played or gets listened to. Like often the song that I think is like, oh, in this record, in this album, like this song, this one is like my best. It's so good. It's so good. But that piece is often not as popular as I think it's going to be. And something else will pop up as very popular and I'll be like, that one, huh? I mean, all of my pieces are important to me and I pour myself into all of them, but it's just kind of this universal experience of being a recording artist. It's sort of like once it's out of your hands, it's just out of your control. It almost becomes not mine anymore. It belongs to all of you who listen to it, and how you kind of use it and interact with it is kind of a different experience than I have with it. It's just a really magical thing to do. And of course, being a recording artist, someone who records music, is also a very different experience than being mostly, say, a live artist, someone who plays concerts for people and plays in person for people, because that experience of listening to recorded music is really different from listening to live music, which is partly why I really enjoy inviting you into my living room every Monday and hanging out with me, no matter how I am, even if I'm a little bit groggy and spacey. I guess the coffee's actually kind of picked me up, so I'm feeling a little less groggy now. But it's been an absolute delight to play for you and to chat with you here on YouTube on this holiday Monday morning. I recognize it is Memorial Day, and I have not said much about the reason for that holiday. Part of it is that I don't know many. I don't think I know anyone in the armed forces, so it's not that personal connection. I'm not sure I have really meaningful words to say about it, and there are so many other meaningful voices out there today talking about what it means to be in the military, and to fight in our wars. So anyways, I'm kind of feeling silly for bringing it up at all. Anyways, happy Memorial Day. If you have served, thank you for your service. And well, I hope you have a wonderful holiday. And even more importantly, I hope you have just a beautiful week. And if you're not feeling like things are beautiful and wonderful, because we're human, and most of the time, actually, we probably don't feel like things are beautiful and wonderful. I'd encourage you to reach out for at least some moment for yourself this week to bring yourself joy and wonder, whatever that means for you. Maybe it's going for a walk and seeing like the most beautiful flower and just taking the time to let yourself look at it and feel the wonder that's inspired by that. That's what it is for me. But whatever it is for you, because it's different for everybody, please take at least 5-10 minutes for yourself, because I think it's so important that we take care of ourselves and love ourselves and accept ourselves so that we can then extend those feelings to others. That's just kind of how we get by in this world, I think, is by loving each other. Take care of yourself, take care of your loves, and I will see you next week.